You know, history is important, and they say that the person who doesn't know history repeats it. So um, it is important to know about the past, but it's also important to think about the future and what's ahead. When you're driving in a car has mirrors because what's behind you is important, and where you've been is important. But the biggest piece of glass in a car is the windshield, because the reason the windshield is much bigger than your mirrors is because it's much more important what's in front of you than what's behind you. So it's always good to be looking ahead and to be seeing what's coming and anticipating what lies ahead. When I was 12 years old, I got a new bicycle, and my new bicycle had a feature that I didn't have before, and that was it had a speedometer. So I could see how fast I was going, and this was great. After some time, I decided I wanted to see how fast my dog could run. We had a small terrier and dog, and so it'd be interesting to know how fast my dog can run. Behind our house where we lived on Meadow Valley Road and in right outside of Ephrata, Pennsylvania, there was a long hill. It wasn't real steep, but it was long. It went from our house, pretty much it was all uphill all the way up to the Meadow Valley Mennonite Church. So I took my dog and my bicycle, and I went up to the top of the hill. And then I turned around and started riding back down. And I was calling my dog, and I wanted to catch him right at his top speed when he was going as fast as he could absolutely run. So I was riding along, and I was calling my dog, and I was looking at my speedometer, and I was looking back at my dog. My dog was running just right about at the back wheel of the bicycle, and I was watching to make sure I was catching him at his top speed. And so I wasn't looking in front of me. Now at that same time, there were some men working on the uh, lines, electric lines or telephone lines, hydro lines on the poles along the road. And there was one man up on top of the pole working on the wiring. There was another man who was standing on the road watching the man on the pole. So I was riding my bike, looking at the speedometer and looking back at my dog and calling my dog. He was looking up at the man on top of the pole. Neither of us saw each other until boom! There was a man sitting on my handlebars. I hit him right straight from the back. My front wheel of my bike went right between his legs and just scooped him up, and there he was. Ah! On the handlebars of my bike. I slowed down, stopped, and he got off, staggered around for a while, and then when he could talk, he turned to me and he wanted to know, "Where do you live?" And I was within sight of my house, so I showed him where I lived. And he said, "You go home and tell your parents I'm going to sue them for everything they have." Oh, I was so scared. So I went home, told my mom. She just laughed. I didn't think it was funny at all. It was actually not until I was in high school and I told one of my teachers the story that I ever realized it was even funny because I was so scared. But you see, my problem was I wasn't looking where I was going. I wasn't looking ahead. I was looking back. And it just doesn't work very well to go through life looking back. It's always best to be looking ahead and thinking about what's coming and being aware of what might happen next, because that helps us to avoid some really awkward, bad situations.